Hey everybody, it's Jamonster back in with Opus Gaming, and I'm here today with my friend Isaiah, who just got 6th place in the first online Gencon event for the Treasure Cup, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yes sir. No, that's
Yeah.
super exciting. How was the event, and what deck did you pilot?
Let's see. So I played Whitebeard today. I don't really know how to play most other decks because I started in O2
Hmm.
and I couldn't get any O1 cards. I tried to start in O1 and I couldn't.
It
And
was
Whitebeard,
impossible.
it was impossible. And Whitebeard was also relatively budget to play, so I sort of picked it up and have been playing it since. Kind of hard to get off of it. So yeah.
No, for sure. That's awesome. And I mean, it's been performing. So it's really cool to see. But what we'll do is we'll jump directly into the deck profile now. And at the end, I'll circle back, let everybody know about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And we'll do a little bit more chatting about the meta and the Gen Con event in general. But if you want to take it away, we can start looking at that deck profile.
Okay. Let's see. So let me go down here. Shout out to my UBell regional mat. I did not go to, or I guess this is Hobby League. Somebody traded me this back when I started with Yu-Gi-Oh! In my days. I started when I was like 7.
No.
And I played just at locals for a few years, and yeah, that was really the beginning. But I never went to a regional. I never went to an event. First big event was I think it was last month, or maybe it was. I think it was probably in June. At an online treasure cup right before the end of O2. It was the last one before Moby Dick got banned, and I went X3. It was okay. I was disappointed in myself. I mean,
Hey, but
yeah,
look how we bounced back today, though. That's what's important.
So this is only the second one. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still just totally shook. So,
No, that's super cool.
And then, so I guess just to start off the profile, we've got the 4 Izos and 4 Nami. So, these are obviously really strong searchers. I know I follow a lot Garrett from Worst Generation. He's crushing. He's taught so many events. He won just this past weekend, and so I definitely take a lot of inspiration from him. But he was only on 3 Izo, which just felt like I just don't know how to do that. Like that's crazy.
No, for
there's
sure.
other things that I wanted to include. But 3 Izo is not. I just felt like I couldn't go down on that. So.
No, if that's just not the place that you wanted to find that space, it's not the place you want to find the space. I think that playing 4 Izo.
It's just so consistent. Yeah. So I mean.
No, for sure.
We got those switchers, and I was also on some Machinos later. So getting to get just the extra 1 drop 2 was great. So for blockers, I was only on the 4. I know most people are on 4, I think. I think a couple people do a little bit more than that. But, 4 seems like a pretty common, I guess, ratio that people are going with. And I decided to do 2-2, which I think a lot of other people are doing. I'm not really – I didn't mastermind this list by any means. But 2-2 felt pretty good. As we'll see sort of throughout the deck list, I really wanted to try to get consistent searches with Izo and Nami. And so I actually have 19 targets for both in the deck.
That makes perfect sense. I like that a lot. I like playing 2 of the chopper and matching it with 2. It's just 2 on each side. So when you're playing an Izo, you're playing a Nami, right? And you're looking like, oh, I need to find a blocker here.
Yeah, you can. I mean, the 1K or the 1 on extra matters, but even still, being able to also use this one as a 1K is really nice. And just being able to also find defensive tools off of Izo and not just offensive feels really nice.
Very true. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you can go sort of both ways with it. I know Law 2 and O2 was trying to do Nami's kind of a more defensive search and Bonnie's your offensive search. But as we'll see too in this with 4 drops, I tried to really sort of balance being able to get attackers from Nami also. So
definitely.
So that's what we got there. And then I was on 2 Robin today. I know some people try fewer or more. I think this is a card that people are really experimenting with. It feels really good into Law and Zoro, at least theoretically. It was pretty good for me today in my final match, which was a mirror. I don't know. I guess it didn't really I don't think it overperformed for me in any way. And I ended up losing to Law one time, so I don't know. But I think it's I think it's still really solid, and definitely helps also if you end up going first. So yeah, I think it's good. I was thinking more earlier. I got talked down, so we'll see. Um, so then we're also on 2 Frankie here and 2 Atmos, just like I was talking about earlier. I just tried to balance them out. I did all the counting, and just hitting 2-2 just gives me 19 searches for each. And I really liked being able to pick up a, like a body.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, I think right now the 4-drop vanillas feel very, very strong, and just boarding those even on curve when you're just early in the game, they come in and do a lot in the mid game and have a lot of board impact. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean they're just so important. And my thinking was like, okay, if I don't see Ezo early game, I need to be able to still find this. So, all right. So then we're on 1 Marco here. Be great if we could play more, especially because I'm getting the promo. I'm sure it would be worth more.
For sure.
I saw it a couple times today. I don't think I actually played it. I think I saw it once, and I don't think I played it that game.
Okay.
It was in a Whitebeard mirror too, but it just felt like it wasn't. Yeah, it just didn't come up.
No, I get that. That's cool.
Then we've got 3 Marco, the 5-drop, really good into Zoro Law. I feel like into Lucci too. I only played 1 Lucci today, just round 1, so it didn't really come up for me there. But really good card. People talk about it a lot. I was thinking of going down to 2, and Den talked me off of it, so
fair.
It worked. And we're on 2 5-drop Luffy. Also was thinking about 3 on this one versus Ace. It's really strong.
Absolutely.
Especially into Zoro and I guess into Lucci too. Just being able to put on a lot of pressure, they just sometimes can't keep up. And okay into the Whitebeard mirror, pretty solid into Kid. It's pretty good. It wasn't like wild, but it was good.
Definitely, I like that.
Then I was on 3 Thatch today. I really wanted to play 4, but I just couldn't find the space. Thatch is just so crazy into the mirror match, especially if you're going second. It was really important for me, even going first in my finals, just being able to, on 7 Dawn, play something really impactful that's not Ace, if they didn't have anything, so that, when they play Ace next turn, you're not totally screwed. Getting to play this body that's huge and that isn't rested really makes Ace less strong against you.
Yeah, for sure. I like that.
I was on 4 Ace today. I feel mixed about it.
Okay.
And was telling me to try 4 just because it's so good into Whitebeard, into the mirror, and it's pretty solid into Lucci as well, just for rush, and Zoro. It worked. It was a little clunky. There were a couple games where it felt a little stuck, but I think 4 is certainly pretty respectable, especially into Dofi. My round was at 7 was against Dofi, and they won yesterday, crushing Whitebeard. So I really appreciated just having a lot of access to Ace when I needed it into some of those matchups.
For sure. When you were playing that Dofi matchup and you brought Ace down, were you using Ace a lot to clear bodies on board, or were you constantly going face against Dofi?
I tried to toe the line. I think, that's really kind of the thing. I think I definitely was clearing bodies more than I would have otherwise. And I think being able to sort of whittle down their hand a little bit, and then especially into the Dofi, I think I swung face a little bit before, then played Ace, and just after they defended it, just sort of got a pretty easy clear on stuff. I think it definitely depends, but Ace can just win you board, and if you have enough defense to not lose right after, then you're doing pretty good.
No, for sure, I agree completely.
And then we got the one of Newgate. I know a couple people are cutting it. I don't know about that. It feels just so crazy in some situations that I feel like maybe it's fine. I would consider cutting it, but it feels like having the flexibility of being able to counter to protect a little bit of life, or to if you happen to have enough blockers up to where you can be safe to play, you just win. So I ended up drawing it maybe 3 games today, and it was really impactful in my second to last Whitebeard mirror in round 8. Being able to play him down and then play an ace the next turn to pop their Marco was really crazy. And he also, because I played the Newgate, got sort of pushed into blocking with his chopper. So he had 2 blockers. So it won me that game for sure. It's really good.
I agree. I don't think you drop Newgate from any Newgate or really any red list. It's just a one of now, and I think that it's so impactful as a one of. So it's a cool card.
And there was one game where it was dead in hand, but it's okay. I think it's certainly at least a respectable choice
for sure.
So then moving on to 2Ks and events, we've got 3 Makino and 1 Otama. This was pretty last minute for me. I was on 4 Otama. Garrett, when he got first place, was just on 4 Makino because he was like, you need the aggression to be able to finish up games. And I think the reasoning behind that is Otama was the best 2K by far in the deck pre-restriction just because of being able to pop blocker Marcos with your 9 cost. But given that there's so few blocker Marcos and few 9 costs, it's a lot less good.
I feel that. That actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's still crazy into some board states, and being able to play it with like your Marco or your Robin is really helpful.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I wanted at least one. I don't know. I could definitely be swayed in some directions about those.
Okay, cool.
So those are the only non-Straw Hat, non-Whitebeard cards that I'm on, I believe. So then those plus the Searchers makes all the non-searchable targets. So for 2Ks, we got 4 Sanji and 3 Jozu. I was kind of feeling I wanted another Jozu, but I just didn't have the space. And then Sanji, I chose him as my 2K because I don't think realistically with this deck you're going to be fielding turn 2 ever. You have enough Searchers to where that's fine. And you have some things to pop for against Law and Zoro. So I really don't think it's worth it to be playing 2Ks like Brook. And Sanji is really helpful into the Nami matchup too. And I didn't see any Nami, but I've lost a surprising amount to Nami, and I've been very confused by it. So
no, honestly, I'm right there with you. I've lost a few, and it's just one of those decks, right, where they can get there. But yeah, things like Sanji can help you a lot because field your hand size, right?
Yeah, and it's like a really it's a 7K on that you can play for 2 Dawn. So like early, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So then we got the 3 Jozu, and then for events here, I'm on the 1 Rad Beam, 4 Guard Point, of course, and then I was on 2 Red Hawk today.
I love to see it. Let's talk about the events. Why'd you go with this event lineup? That's very good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely a little back and forth on it. I don't think that that's anything too crazy. These are all auto includes, and a lot of people I think were trying Red Hawk. I think a lot of people were on one of it. Some people were on Crossfire. I haven't been convinced of Crossfire yet, but I want to join the Church of Crossfire.
People have been on it heavy.
Yeah, I don't know. I it's probably at least a solid card, and I just haven't figured out what to do with it yet. Yeah. So I was talking with some people in the Discord. It was shout out to Den, and just really about one of Crossfire versus one of Red Hawk. This gives me 19 targets for both, which is nice, but I don't get as many defensive EZO searches. And I think the real reason why I went with the last Red Hawk was just into Law. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, get those 1-drops out of here.
Yeah, and into Cross, and it's really good into the Mirror too. If they're just playing like small blockers, it can take care of any blocker except for blocker Marco. So that's pretty good. It didn't really come up so heavy today, but I stand by it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I like it as well as an inclusion. I think that the 1-4-2 lineup is like almost perfect, right? It feels super, super good. I did see a lot of new Yates today that were on Crossfire, but I do personally like the Gum Gum Fire Fist a little bit more. It just does a little bit more, right? And just enough of what you want it to do to go into the meta and stuff. So now that that's been the whole deck profile, we'll go more into talking about the meta, talking about how today went and everything like that. But before we get too deep into it, if you guys aren't subbed, drop a sub down below. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we're doing a big giveaway once we get to 1,000. So it'll be stuff for One Piece, Digimon, and all that stuff, but the information will be down below. But let's talk about what you saw today. Do you remember what your meta matchups were and what the field looked like today for Gen Con?
Yeah, I faced a really diverse group of people. So I started out before the repair playing a kid, film kid, and it was going pretty well for me, but we got repaired, and I was kind of pissed about that. I was very, very thankful, though. I mean, when I saw it was Kid, I was like, oh, fuck. Because if it's Supernova Kid, that's one of the hardest matchups for this deck. So, fine dodging that. And then after the repair is against Lucci, which is another one of the harder matchups. So that sucked. Thankfully, that was the only Lucci I saw. I think he was a little bit new, and I was able to take it pretty convincingly. So that felt nice. From there, I think I played 2 Zoros back-to-back. And I think I won one of those die rolls. I won the die roll a lot today, including Lucci. Yeah, really, really helpful.
Absolutely, especially in One Piece, your down curve and what you know how to play to is so important. So,
yeah, and I really am glad that I did sort of desperately asking a bunch of people for help and like scouring discords because I only in the last 24 hours sort of got advice to try to go first into Zoro and Dofi, and that definitely, and into Law, and I think those definitely helped a lot today. So,
sweet.
Particularly against the 2 Zoro, both felt really pretty easy. Against one of them, I got my 9-cost Whitebeard, and it just felt insane, and I felt really bad for him. And then he played his own, and I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to win, but that makes me feel less bad.
For sure. 1 for 1, right? We both get a 9 beard.
For 9, too, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after the Zoros, I played my first Law, which was my first... I think I wrote it down in my sheet wrong. That was my first loss, and it was pretty close. I think I won the die roll and chose first. I felt like I was really pretty in control for a long time. He didn't even see Bonnie or Law until relatively late. I don't know if he had them and just wasn't feeling comfortable to play them because of losing cards on board and not being able to shambles or what. But I was in a really good spot, and it was pressuring life a fair amount. That was the game when 9-cost was dead in hand. And I just couldn't play it. I did the math, and I figured out that if I cleared board super heavy the last turn, he had 2 blocker Law, Zoro, Robin. I totally forgot that he played a Robin too, and I played a Chopper into it, which sucked.
Yep, that's unfortunate.
I know. I had like 2 Fossa in hand, so it felt like it was kind of okay, and I wanted to bait out the Robin a little bit too. But even still, sucks. But I realized, okay, that last turn, if I clear board super heavy, I knew he had a Brook in hand. You got to assume they've got the restand. He had 1 life, 2 blocker Law, the things I was talking about. And I was basically like, okay, if I play Ace here, I clear board super heavy. There's no way he can survive another turn after this. And if he plays down, I think he only had 2 units at that point. It was the 2 blocker Law. If he plays down even a Brook and the restand Law, shambles into it. So Brook, 2 1-costs, and then shambles for restand. That's still not quite enough to kill me. I only had 1 guard point in hand, which sucked. And I bricked on. I wasn't able to. I don't remember quite what the Dawn turns were. I think it was 9. I think I was on 9 because I was going first, so I could only play. I think I had. Yeah, I only had the 1 guard point. I couldn't play any blocker plus guard point or whatever. So that sucked. Whitebeard was just null. So I cleared board. It went fine. Pushed life a little bit. He discarded a Brook and a restand Law at the end. And I was like, okay, like that's great. Like I feel like I'm totally set. And so like I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
And then he goes into play two more Brooks and restand law. And I lost. And I was just so pissed. Like he got the last Brook off of life and
Yeah.
then decided to pitch the Brook after seeing that. So it wasn't like he just got mega lucky. He probably had some other 2K he could have used. But it just felt so bad. And it was pretty unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very upset about that.
No, those do feel bad, but we bounce back from those.
We bounced back, and I bounced back. I was trying to figure out if I could have. Yeah, I'll try to sort of cut that. But there was some other moves that I could have done. I don't know if it was worth it or if I should have played around that. I don't know. After that, I played my second Law, and that one felt pretty easy, I think. I don't really remember too much. I think I lost the die roll. He chose second, so it was like the same as my game plan for the other one. It went fine.
Yep.
I don't really remember. And then I went into round 6 and I played Ryan from Minnesota. Which sucked. I haven't met him before, but it really sucks to beat somebody else on your own team.
Especially when we're all in the same Discord right after.
We're like every round trying to like chat like, oh, whatever. And I saw Ryan was my opponent. Ryan, I don't remember his last name, just in the pairings. I was like, fuck, I hope this isn't Ryan from the Discord. And it was. He was on Big Mom today, which is, I think, a pretty good matchup. Yep. I don't have a lot of experience into that, much more into Katakuri. But it went pretty fine. He bricked really heavy, even though he triggered Shirahoshi once and bounced it back to trigger again. He just kind of bricked, and I think I won the die roll on that one, chose second, which is really impactful. Saw some ace, and it just totally went my way.
Nice.
Round 7, I was, I guess, 5-1, starting to get really antsy. And even more so when I saw that my opponent was on Dofi, which I haven't really had trouble in the past with, but then I heard about the just really strong showing of Dofi into Whitebeard specifically yesterday, the regional, and I was just kind of quaking. And that was my first time playing Dofi after the restrictions, which I think really makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
I was able to win the die roll and chose first, which I think had a huge impact, and spent a really long time on turns trying to figure things out. It ended up going my way. I was really stuck last turn. I mean, he was able to like keep my board relatively low, but I was able to still build up a fair amount, and I played 2 ace, so, shout outs to Ace.
Ace is coming in, putting in work.
No, I think it was 2 ace. Maybe it was 1, but I think it was 2. And I was able to just pretty easily clear his board like twice. And I had a really tough time deciding if I wanted to go for lethal on my second to last turn. I spent so long. I decided, obviously, not to. I found out I would have been able to get it, but it was just a little too risky, and I realized I had 2 choppers up, and I was thinking about trying to swing with one of them with a Makino in hand. And I was like, if I clear board, there's just no way that this Dofi can get through 2 choppers and a guard point. So decided to play it safe and paid off.
Definitely happy that you did, for sure.
Thanks. Round 8 and 9 were both against the mirror. So I guess clearly Whitebeard did pretty well again today. I think people have been teching pretty hard against it, or just choosing decks against it, because Whitebeard and Luffy played in the finals yesterday. So like, that was my fear going in today, was after Garrett won on this past weekend with Whitebeard, and also like of 69 people playing Whitebeard, 10 got into top 32, so like just crazy strong.
Yep.
It was, okay, people are going to react really hard to this, and I'm going to suffer from that. I don't really know how to play a lot of other decks, so I decided to play Whitebeard.
Yeah, play what you know. I love that decision. It makes a lot of sense, right? At the end of the day, you're playing so long and playing so many matches. Right? Yep. Yeah,
and I'd love to learn some other decks too, to the point where I can actually do well with them in a big tournament, but I was just not there. So
no, for sure.
So Whitebeard in the 8th round, I was pretty nervous because my my goal for this tournament, and just this was my second one. My goal for the last one too was I really, really wanted to go 7-2. Like I would have been so happy if I went 7-2. I wanted it so bad. I was pissed because 7-2. Even if I got lucky with tiebreakers, I would be in top 32, and that's like great. But for the prizing for this tournament, they kind of screwed top 32 out of a queen.
Yeah.
And so but anyways, I still would have been really happy. And so I was feeling the pressure, and I won the die roll, chose second, which was huge. And in that one, he was countering a fair amount early, like pretty aggressively when I was swinging at life. I think it was only one time I swung 8 at life, and he countered. But then he didn't have 9 cost later, and then I swung at his Luffy that he played, and he countered aggressively with that. So he just ran out of cards, and we fought for board a lot. He had ace, I had ace, I think. I can't really remember. He had blocker Marco, and I didn't, in a chopper. But I ended up keeping 1 life because he was swinging a lot at board and playing down my new gate that I had for a long time. And with 1 life, I mean, that's obviously really steady, but I also was able to bait him to just using the chopper super easy.
Yep.
Because it would be useless next turn if I didn't have a way to clear Marco or cost reduce. So he, got baited into using the chopper, and then next turn I was able to defend board really aggressively because I realized that there was just no way for him to live if I did, and then just played down the ace to take care of Marco with Whitebeard effect.
Smooth.
And, did it, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
Yep. So that felt super good. I was going into round 9 feeling so much nerves, like unimaginable. This whole day I was so nervous. Last time I played in Treasure Cup, so nervous.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom so much because my so much adrenaline just filtered. Water went straight through me. I went through so many water bottles.
So much energy. No, I get that. It's a lot.
So much. Yeah, I think I'm more stressed than just about anybody who plays this game. But, there's good and bad to that.
No, 100%. So it gets you there.
Yep. So round 9, another Whitebeard mirror. I was feeling like, okay, I won the last one, but it really feels like, it's a mirror, so it's kind of 50-50. There's player diff, but it really depends also on draws and who wins the die roll. He won die roll, so I was like,
yeah.
And I think I kept my starting hand with Robin and like Ace Luffy going first. Even though I didn't have any searchers, I was feeling like, okay, I know Ace is just... Oh, no, it was Robin, Ace, Thatch, I think. And I just knew that Thatch is really helpful, better going second for sure, but still really good. And Ace is just like the most important card. So I had a little curve, whatever, and Robin's pretty good against the blockers really late. So I kept it, and I spent like unbelievably long on my 5 Dawn turn. I happened to not draw anything that I could use for 5 or 4. I played Ezo and spent a solid 7 minutes trying to decide between Atmos and a second ace. Yeah, so Ezo, I'm sorry, I'm like down here, but...
no, it's okay.
And so between these two, because, I could play down the Atmos and have something on curve, it's a pretty strong body, or just like go into the ace. I chose ace. I think Atmos might have been right, I don't know. Ended up not needing the second ace, but still...
hard decision, yeah, for sure. We could have got there. So no, I think you made a good decision in that situation.
So yeah, I spent super long doing all that stuff. It ended up being really close. I think it came down to a last turn where he had 2 life left and I had none. I had a lot of events in hand. I think it was Rad Beam, Guard Point, Red Hawk. No blockers. Saw no blockers that game. And a couple Machino and a bunch of 2Ks. And he ended up... I was worried that he was going to play 9 cost. I was really in trouble if he went 9 cost or like played Marco, but ended up not and just going for lethal because he didn't have any way to survive either. We both had really big boards. And he happened to also have 2 Machino. and I was able to get out with just exactly enough counter. I think the last cards in hand were Red Hawk that I couldn't use and Ace.
Oof.
So it was so close.
Yeah.
I was really fucking shook when he played all of that because I hadn't counted out for Machina. I mean,
Yeah.
it was nothing I could have done differently, but it was just so down to the wire. There was no way he was living, no way I was living, and it just happened. Like, I got us.
Yeah, you got there. No, and seeing that finishing placing of top 8, man, that's so exciting. That's so cool, man.
I know, yeah, and so X1 too. They're not guaranteed top 8, and top 8 was really my absolute goal playing this game. Like just getting a top 8. That was my absolute goal. That was my wildest dream, and I'm so thrilled, and I was so hyped going into the last round. Part of the pressure was I saw that I was placed 7th going into the last one, and so I knew that if I won, I was guaranteed it. And I just, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, man. No, that's amazing. Looking forward, since you got such a high placing with Whitebeard, looking at the meta and where the meta's going, are you just going to continue to play Whitebeard?
I mean, yeah, I don't have a ton of time to learn new decks. I'm trying to apply to medical school and need to spend more time on that than One Piece. I would really like to learn other decks too to a really high level, but the new Whitebeard's a little bit more complicated, but it's not like that hard to play at a really high level. And I mean, if I'm trying to win, I think I just got to play to my strengths. I would love to try to meet up with people more and play more casual decks, but I feel like even when I go to locals, I have a hard time not trying to win.
Yeah.
Really hard, and so it's been hard for me to play and sort of experiment with other decks.
No, that competitiveness is just kind of what drives, right? What makes it fun and what makes it really, really fun to play the game, really and truly. Yeah. But no, before we get going, I wanted to see, do you have any shout outs or anything that you want to mention about your deck profile or anything?
Yeah, thanks, Jermaine. I have so many shout outs.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my mom for getting me this One Piece shirt years ago. I love it so much. I actually have 2 of them. I'm not quite sure why, but it did it for me today. Shout outs to my dad for playing so much Yu-Gi-Oh with me back in the day. That was really such an incredible connection that we had and got me on my road here.
Yeah.
Shout outs to, I guess I want to figure out how to order these. I've played in 2 different local communities, first in the Madison area in Wisconsin and then in Minnesota. People in Madison, it's a pretty small scene. We had 7 to 12 people for most locals, and no prize support. We couldn't buy packs at all, just tournament packs. But people were so welcoming, so nice, and that's really where I got my start. And then moving to Minnesota, things are just crazy here. I mean, I had to drive 30 minutes to play in Madison for no packs, and here there's more than 1 per day. It's just crazy.
Yeah, dude, we have a huge scene here.
It's crazy, and I mean, just think that there's also 2 people who have won regionals is just wild.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's really competitive here, and I mean, I definitely attribute to part of why I've done well to that competitiveness for practice, and then also just being able to somewhat annoyingly bounce questions off of people, especially Den.
Shout out to Den, man. He helps everybody with deck profiles. He's the Den.
Den's been giving me very detailed responses when I ask him, oh, what are your tips into this matchup?
Yeah.
He's been giving me detailed responses into that for a month. And we did a lot of testing against his sort of 8-cost kid Kinemon deck the other day, and it was, so really good. I mean, he's a really good player.
Absolutely.
He doesn't get nearly as stressed as I do, and he's very, very supportive.
No, for sure. Shout out to Deck Dr. Den, man, for real.
Yep. Shout outs to also Noah Uzan for being a huge cheerleader for me. We found out that we live super close to each other, and we're hanging out a little bit and going to tournaments together. That's been super fun.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, and shout outs to my partner for also being really excited for me. That was really sweet, and she also has made so much space and patience for me being really into this game and being incredibly stressed over it. So That's great too.
Shout out to your partner for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are the main shout outs that I've got. I hope that I'm not missing anybody. Shout outs to Quan too. I mean, he's super helpful, super nice. And yeah, I mean, it's just been a blast. I guess shout outs to Garrett for being such inspiration and also chatting with me about decks and choices and things. Yeah, I mean, I just feel so incredibly lucky and excited to have done this well, and I'm over the moon.
No, seriously, congratulations, man. Just from everybody on the Opus Gaming team in general, man, congratulations. It's a huge finish, and this is such a big tournament. So getting top 6, and just as you said, it's something that you've been really working towards, and the work has paid off, man. It really shows you're an amazing player, and you did amazing today. So congratulations, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys, this is gonna be Jamonster with Opus Gaming, and we're out. Take care.